Hey guys, let's get more news about Warriors, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Waters shares humble outlook on newfound Warriors starting role. Steve Kerr said Lindy Waters III is a nice fit in the Warriors' offense and plans to keep the undrafted veteran guard a part of the starting unit, at least for the near future. Waters, however, sees it differently. From Waters' viewpoint, Kerr could insert just about anyone into the starting two-guard spot left vacant by DeAnthony Melton's season-ending knee injury. "We've got a lot of guys that can fill that role," Waters told NBC Sports Bay Area after Wednesday's 120-97 win over the Atlanta Hawks at Chase Center. "If you got Steph, Curry, Draymond Green, Tracy, Jackson Davis, and Andrew Wiggins, you can throw any other fifth guy in there and he'll be good." For now, Kerr isn't interested in using anyone else. The job belongs to Waters, and the Warriors coach doesn't see that changing anytime soon. "I'm committed to that right now," Kerr said. "He's a good fit next to that group. I like bringing Buddy Hield off the bench. Starting Lindy allows us to keep the bench intact and gives us another shooter and defender in the starting lineup." Waters, who had started the Warriors' previous two games while the team awaited word on Melton's condition, wasn't spectacular in his official debut as a member of Golden State's starting group, but he did enough to warrant keeping him in that role. Waters had 10 points on 4 of 9 shooting, with a pair of threes, 3 rebounds with 1 assist and a steal while finishing plus 16 in 23 minutes against the Hawks. In his 3 starts this season, the 27-year-old is shooting 9 of 19 from the floor and is 6 of 12 behind the arc. That's a nice compliment to a starting unit featuring the greatest distance shooter of all time, one of the most dominant defensive players in NBA history, and 2 other role players who have been playing at a very high level. In addition to efficient offense, Waters also stood out with his defensive effort against the Hawks. Matched up against Trae Young most of the night, Waters limited the 3-time NBA All-Star to 12 points on 4 of 12 shooting. "Just got to corral him, pressure him a little bit, make him make tough decisions, tough passes," Waters said. "He's a really, really crafty player, really talented." Waters quickly has made a positive impression not only on Kerr and Dub Nation, but with his teammates as well. "Lindy's playing well," Green said. "Just always knows where to be, knows defensive rotations and assignments, knows how to get to space. We have the utmost belief in him. We have no doubt that he'll continue to play well for us in that starting group." Waters, though, was very humble in the Warriors' locker room after the game. He repeatedly praised his teammates and didn't make much of a big deal out of being named a starter. "I've just been ready for whatever moment that is," Waters said. "Rotation-wise, it might be exciting at first, but at the end of the day, once the ball goes up everything is normal." NBA referee hilariously tells Draymond Green to not complain about him on his podcast. Draymond Green always prides himself on not just being a player, but the key figure of the new media. His podcast is one of the most popular among player-led shows and garners a large audience. And it turns out, NBA referees also listen to his podcast. Ahead of the Warriors game against the Hawks, NBA referee Tyler Ford told him he didn't want to hear complaints about officiating like his previous episode. Referee Tyler Ford, "I listened to the first 10 minutes of your podcast. I don't want to hear no feelings tonight." Draymond Green, "Yes, sir." Ford is referencing Green's recent podcast episode, where he slammed the referees for calling an intentional foul, which got upgraded to a flagrant one by league officials. Green also went after Grizzlies coach Taylor Jenkins and rookie Zach Edey, the latter of whom was the player he fouled. It was good to see Green having an interaction with an NBA referee that wasn't hostile. Draymond is one of the most volatile players in the NBA and is constantly arguing with referees over foul calls. And oftentimes, he is arguing with referees after committing some of the most blatant fouls possible in the game today. Green's excessively physical style and brash personality make him a referee's worst nightmare, but Tyler Ford seemed to play along with him just fine. Green had a decent game against the Hawks, putting up 9 points, 7 rebounds, 9 assists, 1 steal, and 2 blocks. He played a crucial role in the Warriors' 120-97 win over the Hawks. Draymond Green has been one of the most important players in this recent Warriors turnaround. Coming into the season, no one had any expectations of the Warriors. Having lost Klay Thompson and Chris Paul in the offseason, and landing no star player to replace them, the Warriors were expected to be a middling team in a stacked Western Conference. However, the Warriors have shown that they are not down for the count, coming into the season guns blazing. The Warriors now sit on top of the Western Conference with an 11-3 record, the best in the West and third best in the entire NBA behind the Celtics and the Cavaliers. Many credit the performances of Stephen Curry, Andrew Wiggins, new signing Buddy Hield, and the young duo of Brandon Podziemski and Jonathan Kuminga. And while all those players have been key in their roles, this resurgence wouldn't be possible without the excellent defensive performances of Draymond Green. 2 players could be on Warriors' radar ahead of trade deadline. The Golden State Warriors have started the season as the best team in the Western Conference, sitting as the number 1 seed with an 11-3 record through the first month of the season. They've been convincingly beating teams on both ends of the court and are third, plus 10.2, in net rating this season. Even with their success, it's no secret that the Warriors were heavily monitoring stars available for trade over the summer. They had public trade attempts for Paul George and Lauri Markkanen which failed to materialize, but insiders believe the Warriors are likely to make a trade sometime soon before the trade deadline. With the strong start to the season, the Warriors don't need to make a blockbuster acquisition. Instead, acquiring a player who will perfectly complement their current roster would be ideal, especially with DeAnthony Melton's season-ending injury. As a result, we think Brooklyn Nets forward duo Cam Johnson and Dorian Finney-Smith could be on the Warriors' wishlist ahead of the trade deadline. Johnson is averaging 18.1 points and 4.3 rebounds so far this season, providing extremely high-level wing play for the Nets. With the franchise reportedly making everyone on the roster available for potential trades, Johnson might be the one to generate the most interest. He's a 3-level scorer who is shooting 39.3% from three-point range on 7.8 attempts per game. The Warriors' motion offense would be perfect for Johnson to thrive within, especially in a frontcourt pairing with Draymond Green. The price for Johnson won't be small, so the Warriors will likely have to part with a young asset like Jonathan Kuminga or Brandon Podziemski. If they continue to hold them as untouchables, Andrew Wiggins might be sent away with additional first-round picks to satiate the Nets. Johnson makes $23.6 million, so the Warriors will either need to use Wiggins' $26.2 million in salary to make a deal happen or club multiple contracts with Kuminga, $7.6 million, or Podziemski, $3.5 million. If this is a price too steep for the Warriors for a rotational forward, looking at Johnson's teammate Dorian Finney-Smith could bring ideal results. Finney-Smith isn't the offensive spark plug Johnson is, averaging 11.2 points and 4.7 rebounds on 42.5% from 3 this season. But he's an extremely dependable frontcourt defender who plays with high IQ and versatility to be on the perimeter or on the inside. And you fan? What do you think of the situation of Cam Johnson? Leave your opinion in the comments.